I don't remember the magazine, but they're published in the magazine, and it's one for mental issues. People have experienced mental uh, problems, damage, and he wrote a book about his experience, and he managed to get the employer to, I think, publish it. In this case, his name is Michael, and he got Molson Brewery, because he worked for the company at the time, to, you know, put some energy into one of their employees. And it's like, I gives me a new respect to actually Molson's. I mean, I was, wow. I mean, I'm not a beer drinker, but next time I want to go buy a case of beer, guess what? I'm going to go buy it from. I'm going to buy that brand, because I mean, I don't know all the whys and whats about the whole project, but they have contributed money or raised money inside their own company to help this gentleman out, fundraisers, and um, he had to do some weird treatments that weren't covered by our medical profession, which helped him out immensely. I mean, they were like treatments that cost like tens and twenties of thousands, multiple thousands of dollars. And this company like stood up behind him, and they actually published his book, and they're going to have an opening, and it's in a week or two from now. It's like, it's interesting. I mean, like, wow. I mean, my employer, which I'm not going to tell you, I don't even get an email from, or a letter, or a card, or whatever. I've been off sick for 2 years or so, and I don't hear nothing. I mean, it's a big employer. And I'm an employee there for since I was 18 or 19 years old, and now I'm 45. And my time, 26 years, doesn't mean nothing. I mean, I understand it's a big company. They got like 6,000 employees or 10,000 employees or whatever, but you got also a network of supervisors and managers that manage your section, and they move to bigger managers and so on. There's nothing going on. I drop into work once in a while to touch base, and no one seems to be too really invested, interestedly, or whatever, or have too much interest in just really knowing on how things are going. But going back to that ordeal there, where 5 people out of the 10 were writing, and they were writing like, some of them were writing by pen. I mean, I saw their books, journals, and it's what got them to, again, learn how to write. I mean, control their writing arm and their hand. I mean, writing an experience is it's just so very cool. And writing all together is cool. It engages your brain into an activity for creation or whatever. It can jumpstart your brain to start taking on and enjoying the challenge. I mean, when I first started writing, what I was writing was crap. I didn't even understand what I was writing. I'd start with something very simple. Let's say talking about, I don't know, an egg. And at the end of the paragraph or whatever, I was talking about a boat. I mean, no focus on any material, not any subject. When you looked at the page when it was done, it was all red with underlined things and spelling errors and things that were circled, and huge things were all lined in green, and drawing attention to, like, the whole thing was like this colored paragraph of problems that spell check or whatever all these word managers would like queue up. Not to mention that when you read it or sifted through it to try and start fixing what you wrote then, and try to refocus it back on something you wanted to talk about, it didn't make any sense. I mean, it was like absolute trash. Can't even believe I wrote some of this stuff. It's like, hi, my name is Mac, and hey, my big toe hurts, and the moon is big, and it's dark outside, all in one paragraph. And it's like, Nothing common. What are you thinking about? I don't know. It's just a lot of stuff going through my head. I'm writing it down. And that is cool. That the way you would start is just write everything that comes to your head down on a page. All of it. Even if it doesn't join up, doesn't make any sense. Don't spend too much time looking it over, investigating it, or analyzing it, or whatever. Do it till you're done and you don't want to write anymore. Then revisit it. Look at what you were writing and how things were not joined up, and how there's 50 different topics or whatever, and how you seem to think you were on some type of path of creativity where it wasn't. Look at all your grammar, spelling mistakes, punctuation. See that you're terrible at it, and just to see how crappy and how bad you are at this process. And then spend some time and clear it up, and invest some more time into bringing down some ideas and break it up into more paragraphs or smaller paragraphs, and be very descriptive on what you are trying to talk about. Because in essence, doing all that is now re-engaging your brain into some order of what things are all about, how you're supposed to, when you write, you write with a topic in your mind. And if when you start writing and the topic changes like 400 times, then you can see how that's doing that. And then when you revisit it, try and focus in on one of those topics. And when you do get that, then it's also, as you're exposed to always trying to remember your vocabulary and how to spell things and your punctuation and all of it, it'll engage your brain to now reach into finding those memories, and all that stuff's in there. It's just difficult to find or tap into. I mean, I know a couple people that they say they were going to be English professors. One particular members of that group was, before she had her brain injury, she was on her way to study to be a teacher and teach English. And she confessed that at the moment she could write a sentence, and even then it was so difficult because it's pretty roughly structured. I understood that because my first ones were terrible. But instead of sitting there and trying to look at it from a bad angle, I mean, it's not like you're going to submit what you're writing to National Geographic in hopes they're going to publish it. It's just to try and engage yourself into something that's creative and a tool to use to engage in fixing your brain, analyze things, keep on track with topics and subjects, your spelling, punctuation, all part of it. How you make a sentence interesting or readable, or if it's too traumatic to start with, revisit it an hour later. I mean, it's your own creation. You don't have to show it to anybody. You don't have to be embarrassed by it. You don't talk about anything you want. I mean, what would be interesting enough that you would spend the time to write about you. I mean, that's where I started, what I was feeling, all these weird things, and then describing them. I mean, that's what my blogs were all about to start with, because when I wrote them and I published them, I had no idea what this is all about. But in essence, when I look at it back now, or looking back at it now, I was trying to think up ways to realign my brain to do what I could do before, even though that was something I did normally. I wasn't a writer before, and I certainly wasn't a reader, and I wasn't interested in writing paragraphs. I was like climbing ladders and painting houses, power washing, and running an office for payroll, and making sure people would get paid, and dispatching buses, because that's what I used to do. So, but I'm not doing that now. So I'm at home, and I kind of live my isolated existence here. So I find things that I would like to do, or are challenged by, but fun to do. And in essence, no matter what you do, as long as it's not zoning out and watching television, it's good for you. You know, stay away from the drugs if you can. I mean, again, I'm not a doctor and I can't tell you not to take things, but anything that is going to make you not think right or wreck your creativity or whatever, you should talk it over with your doc and see if you can, like, downplay it or whatever. I mean, the whole idea behind writing is it can, all those, all that bombardment of so much information that's going through your brain, you need to, like, figure it out, how to organize it so, you know, you can go to sleep at night and just turn it out. Like, put things where they're supposed to be. File it all away. It's not going to happen in one day.